Hey guys, what's up? Bloop Gaming here once again with another Creepypasta video. Now today is going to be a really short Creepypasta. However, this Creepypasta has been getting a lot of good ratings. And honestly, I really hope this really creeps me out. And I also hope it creeps you guys out, so the viewers. And yeah, let's just get right down to it. This Creepypasta is called Never Again. So enjoy it, relax, and yeah, here we go. I was 17 when she came. I'd been living with my abusive mother for 17 long, painful years. It was around midnight and my mother was already asleep, so when the three soft raps at the front door came, it was me who answered. An odd-looking little girl stood there, with cheeks pale and colorless, hair blonde in braided pigtails, pink dress torn a little at the hem, feet bare and turning slightly blue from the cold of winter, and black eyes, fathomless, deep black eyes. I quickly let her in, thinking of how horridly underdressed she was. It wasn't until I'd wonder why she had not been shivering, or even question as to why she was here in the first place. I got her into my living room, wrapping her little form in a thick afghan my grandmother knitted. She held it, though it didn't seem to affect her, and I smiled. "What's your name, sweetie?" A long silence passed, in which she stared at me. I was beginning to be discomforted by her black gaze when she parted her lips and spoke in a soft voice. "Lacey Morgan." I nodded, smiling again. "You can stay here tonight, Lacey," I said. Motioning to the couch, she curled up in a little ball, black eyes still on me, and I exited the room. That night I slept soundly, not worrying about my mother beating me or the strange little girl on my couch. When morning came, I trudged into the kitchen. I was greeted with a coffee mug to the shoulder. I gave a feeble shout of pain, staring at my mother. "What the hell did you do? Why is there dirt on the couch?" she shouted, confusing me greatly. Upon investigating, I found that Lacey had vanished. The only proof she'd been there was some sort of dirt that must have fallen off her dress or feet. I took responsibility, earning myself a strong hit to the cheek, then left for school. While there, I heard something that sent chills through my spine. Lacey Morgan was found dead last night. I passed the day waiting for any more news on the subject, but I found none. Upon arriving home, the news was broadcasting a live report on her, though. Lacey Morgan, 6 years of age, was reported dead at 7 last night. Her body was located in the backyard, buried there in a pink dress. So far, there have been no sign of her mother, Marissa Morgan, who is suspected to be the killer. Marissa has reportedly abused Lacey multiple times and may be responsible for her death. Suddenly, a picture of Lacey appeared on screen. She appeared very close to how she had when I met her. Blonde hair and braids, a pink dress, and pale face. Only her cheeks had color, and her eyes were baby blue. To most, this would seem unimportant, but to me it was. She died before arriving at my house. If what the newscaster said was true, died hours before. I tried to play it off about going about my business. I went to bed early so as to not check on to see what my mother was doing. It was around midnight when I awoke to cool fingers stroking the bruise on my cheek. I sighed, leaning into the small hand. "Never again," Lacey whispered, before her hand vanished. Not 10 minutes later, I had found my mother screaming. I rushed into her bedroom, nearly fainting at what I saw. My mother was thrashing wildly on her bed, a small creature having buried its face into her chest. I could hear the song of flesh tearing, and my mother's screaming increased in volume. I wish I hadn't gotten up. Later on, I tell myself I hadn't, but I had. So when Lacey pulled back from the gaping hole in my mother's chest cavity, I had plain view at her razor-sharp teeth glinting in the light, glinting with my mother's blood. She smiled innocently at me for a moment, before swiftly tearing out my mother's jugular. That time I did faint. When I came to, I was in my bed. I walked to my mother's room, morbid curiosity getting the best of me. Upon opening the door, I found the room empty, the bed made neatly, as if my mother had left for work early. The only oddities were the dirty child's footprints in the open window, showing that Lacey had in fact visited. I never saw my mother again, and I never missed her either. I eventually got married and we had a child together. I named her Lacey. Recently, I noticed the neighbor's daughter has all sorts of scrapes and bruises on her arms. I've been starting to watch their home, and the other day I saw something odd. A little girl running barefoot through their backyard up to their back door. It was around midnight, so I couldn't be sure, but I thought she met my eyes with her black ones. I could swear she mouthed two words at me. Never again. That, this creepypasta freaked me out a little. Like, I did not know where this was going, actually, but now I'm thinking about it, Lacey Morgan has become, I guess, a spirit of vengeance for anyone that has been abused by their parents or loved ones. Hence why at the end, the protagonist grows up as a family and begins to hear about like abuse from his neighbors, and then he sees Lacey Morgan again, saying that never again, basically meaning that never again will another child be abused, and she will kill them for it. Now, on the gore aspect, I give it a B minus, which, like, talking about like where the protagonist's mother was like killed, like thrashing about in the bed, the jugular being ripped off, like sharp teeth at the throat, all that. Like, it gave me some pretty good imagery, and honestly, it did a good job about basically giving me more to work with than just like not imagining it at all. And honestly, it's done it really well. It gave you a good imagery. It gave you like what, like, you could picture what's happening. I pictured, like, because I was reading this book called The Ice Twins, and I'm still reading it. But it like this, the girl's defining features: blonde braided hair, pink dress, bare feet. I pictured it, and I also pictured the mother getting her jugular ripped out. And honestly, it was a really, like, it was very, very descriptive, and I applaud the author for that. A little bit more, possibly with the gore, aside from the jugular and everything, but aside from that, B minus. With the story itself, I'm going to give it an A. Just flat out A, no plus, no minus, just an A, because I did not know what I was getting myself into while reading this story. Like, at first, when there was a girl at the door barefoot, I thought A, the protagonist killed her. Because when the newscast showed up, it said that before she arrived at the door with black eyes, the protagonist noted that this girl basically came out of nowhere and she had black eyes instead of blue eyes, hinting that she was either dead, and basically she had like she was in dirt because her feet were dirty with dirt. So what I assumed happened was the protagonist had killed her while she was sleeping or something. But as the story went through, like, you could tell like it's going through a different direction, because you hear about the protagonist's own like grief about like his mother slapping him, and then like the hot coffee cup on his shoulder, the bruise on his cheek, and basically then you hear Lacey Morgan like with her hand on his cheek, barely realizing it, saying never again. And so that's when I thought she basically like, vengeance incarnate for anyone that's been abused, any children that have been abused by their own parents or loved ones. And I thought that was a really cool twist. I really thought the protagonist killed her, because like taking out, because it's not uncommon for abusive parents that abuse their children, who in turn basically abuse their own children because that's what they faced when they were older. I mean, when they were younger as kids. I thought it would just be like he would abuse Lacey because he saw a little bit of himself in there, and subconsciously would act on that like rage against his mother. But no, it didn't. She was basically a ghost that kills anyone that like abuses their kids. And honestly, I really liked it. I can see why it got good ratings, and I applaud the author for giving me a good, concise story with some good like details that you could picture it. I overall this creepypasta, I will give it an A, cause like it's a good one. That's all I can really say, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. You know, B minus for the gore, a flat out A for the whole story, and overall just an A. You know, I really liked it. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Um, oh shit, what was I gonna say? If you want more of these videos, just let me know. If you want me to do a specific creepypasta, like I'll like probably do it. You know, see how much it is and basically and see if it's good enough, whatnot. And basically, yeah, this is Bloop Gaming. I hope you like what you saw and you heard and whatnot. And this is me saying I'm out. Peace.